Connector creates opportunities for people with disabilities by providing information, resources, and programming geared towards greater inclusion and quality of life. On Service Mondays, we highlight a local organization or initiative. On November 6th, it's Mashup Labs, and November 27th, it's Wavefront Community Center. Every third Monday is our Perspective series, where you'll hear from guest speakers on varying topics. Join us on November 20th to tune in to a discussion about navigating winter sports with a disability. Wednesdays are Chair Yoga with Bobby Seale-Kavitsky. Thursdays are Adaptive Fitness with Ocean Rehab and Fitness. Fridays are Contemporary Improv Dance classes with Janice Lawrence. Every third Friday is a growable presentation by the Disabled Independent Gardening Association. This month, we're learning about anti-inflammatory foods with Renee Chan. We have a new program starting this December, Creative Writing. Classes will be online Tuesdays at 4 p.m. PT. Join us for a Connector holiday party at the Roundhouse Community Arts and Recreation Center on December 6th. Visit the events calendar on Connector's website, connector.org, for more information and to register for events, or find us on Facebook.
Okay, you can start.
All right, thank you. Hi there, it's Julie from Ocean Rehab and Fitness. It's nice to see a few of you today. Hopefully there's a few more joining us. So for today's class, I have equipment as just being a set of hand weights. If you'd rather use 2 water bottles or soup cans, that's always an option. And I also have just a small pillow that I'll place on my lap when we do hinged activities. So if that's something that you like to have available, you can have that as well. And of course, a water bottle. So as usual, I'll be staying after class for a few minutes. So if you have anything you want to chat about or questions you want to ask, I'm happy to stay and chat with you for a few minutes. And other than that, we will get started. So let's start by focusing on our breathing a little bit and on posture. You might close your eyes for this portion if you're comfortable with that. So maybe eyes closed as you focus on your breathing. Every breath in, making your head a little closer to the ceiling, and just a nice even breath out. So breath in, your head gets a little close to the ceiling. Breath out to release, pulling that crown of your head upwards with the breath in and releasing with the breath out. And we'll do one more like that. Breath in and breath out. And then moving down to chest expansion. Maybe you have a hand there for a bit of feedback. So breath in, expanding through your chest. A breath out to release. Good. Breath in, chest expands. And breath out to release. Nice, even, big breaths in and out. We'll do one more like that. Breath in and out. And then you might take your hand down to your belly as we continue to focus on our breathing this time, imagining that your belly is a balloon that you can fill up with air with the breath in, and then squeeze all the air out with the breath out. So your belly filled up with air on the inhale. On the exhale, your belly button pulls towards your backbone. So we're starting to engage those core muscles on the exhale in order to pull your belly button in, squeezing out all that air. Let's do one more like that. And then if you have your eyes closed, you can open your eyes. We'll get ready to do a shoulder shrug up by your ears, and then shoulder blades tracking down your back. Good, we'll do a few like that. And then we're just going to subtly change this move. So instead of pulling our shoulders up, we're going to focus more on rotating them back and then down. So they will come up a little bit, but I want you to focus more on the back and down. So pull them back, rotate them down. Just taking those shoulders and moving them away from our ears. That's where we're going to use them for class today. And then we'll do one more like that. Excellent. From there, we'll loosen up through our neck a little bit more. So maybe you'll do a little side to center, ear towards the shoulder, back to center. Good. And then once you come back to center, you'll look down towards your lap, up towards the ceiling. Last one like that. And then you might go around in a few slow neck rotations. So all the way around, of course, kind of listening to your own body and deciding how big that rotation should be right now. And then back the other direction. Good, last one like that. All right, we're gonna do one arm at a time, opening out to the sides. So we're starting to get a little bit of movement through our shoulder joint and also a little gentle active stretch through chest muscles. Good, last one each way like that. Just directionally changing things to come a little bit higher. So on upwards diagonal. Last one each way like that. And then we'll also go on a downwards diagonal. So pressing back behind you, one side and then the other. Good, we'll do one more each direction or each arm. And then we'll come back to center, just check on those shoulders, make sure they are still sitting low like they were after we completed those shoulder shrugs where we brought shoulder blades way down our back. We're going back to the arm extensions with an option of a little bit of spinal rotation here. So I will let you decide what feels good for you. Perhaps you'll kind of follow that arm just a little bit in a rotation and in your gaze as well. So getting a little bit more spinal movement and right up to our neck as well. Good. Last two. And last one here. And then we'll do those diagonal reaches with just a little bit of a side flex. So giving you maybe a tiny bit higher reach, but also a little bit of flexion through your spine. So you might feel your obliques start to warm up and work a little bit here. And of course, the rotation is optional. So just arms is fine with me. Last one each way. And then we will do our diagonal reach back as well. And that will also be with an optional rotation. So maybe you'll rotate to look at that hand as it rotates back behind you. Yeah, we'll do two more. And last one here. All right, we are going to be doing some optional hinged activities, especially with the weights a bit later, but also in our heart raising section as well. If you use a chest strap, you'll of course work within the parameters of that. If that's something you need to put on just to stabilize, that is something you could do right now. We are going to start doing just a little bit of a forward press. So I just want to make sure chest muscles are nice and warm. I do have some chest exercises planned for today. And we'll be using chest muscles quite a bit in our heart raising section of the class as well, which is coming up right away. Okay, last one each way like that. Our additional movement for this one is a bit of a hinge. So as I was just mentioning, chest strap, if that's something you use, moving within your own comfortable range. If you are comfortable adding a little bit of a hinge or a bigger hinge, go right ahead. So your reach is now coming a little farther forward if you've added that hinge. Good, and then we'll change direction on this one just a little bit too. So maybe you'll start upright with a forward reach just above eye level. And then you might add a bit of a hinge to this one as well. So for this one, I'm going to keep my shoulders facing more or less forward. I don't want to necessarily rotate into this one just because we're moving a little fast to be conscious of a rotation at the same time. Good. We'll do 2 more per side here. And 1. Good. And then I just want to make sure our biceps and triceps are warm before we get going. So we'll do 1 bicep curl, 1 tricep press back. And then start to make that a longer arm reach forward to back. And then we'll continue waking up those triceps a bit with a reach for your same side shoulder. It does not need to be until your hand touches. If shoulder mobility is an issue, keep your head nice and even in a nice neutral position and just move your arm to whatever point is comfortable for you. Good. Last one each way here. All right. So I'm getting warm. We're going to start our heart raising activity portion at the moment. So what I have planned for you today is a sequence of 1-minute intervals with some different movements. So I'm going to start my timer to keep myself on track. And we will get going with that. Maybe you need a drink of water. Go ahead and grab that now if you'd like. And no equipment is needed for this section. Okay, so my theme for today's class is the varying speeds of movement. So you're going to find that in this section as well. Some will be more heart raising, some will maybe work a little bit more on core control. We are going to start with our first minute with some sweeping punches. So if you can think about coming to a center target at about chest level. And we're going to add in the option for this one. So this is one of our slower moves of a bit of a hinge. So as we do this first minute, you might add a little hinge as well, trying to get chest muscles to do almost all the work. Front shoulder muscles, of course, also being activated here, and some core if you are hinging. And even if you're not sitting upright, we still get some core support here for sure. Yeah, so keep going. We're almost on our first minute of this. All right, our next one's going to be more of an uppercut. So that was kind of a sweeping move from the side. Now we're going uppercut. So if you can think of this more as a medium speed, and of course, working within your own feelings today of what faster and slower speed should be. If you're here to get lots of heart raising activity, maybe you pick up the speed in each of these different moves to get that heart rate up just that little bit farther. Yeah, so we're almost done this minute. Uppercuts. Chest and front shoulders still doing most of the work. Good. Our next one is going to be jabs. We're going to go for slower, more reach to start with. That doesn't mean that you can't get some heart raising out of this. So if you want to speed it up and add a hinge, that's fine with me. Or slow it down, more deliberate moves. So maybe adding that hinge, a little bit more reach. Looks good. Keep going. We got about 10 more seconds on this one. Excellent. All right, from here, we're going to switch it up to quick jabs. So you're going to go quick. 1 minute of quick jabs. Good. Keep going.
Can you help me get this sweater off? I'm so warm. Okay.
Keep going. We're about halfway there. Shoulders are still away from your ears. Nice quick punches. Good. Here comes my timer. All right, for our next one, we're going to do a little bit of dodging. So we're going to go over to the side, over to the side. We're just going to do a minute of this. So if you think of this as being our more slow, your hands can be up. So you're blocking as you go side to side. Trying to still keep fairly even weight on both hip bones, pelvic bones. Good, we're almost done this one, about 10 more seconds. So lots of core on this one as we do a little pivot, side to side pivot. Good, last one there. All right, so now we're going to start to add in a crossbody punch. So you're going to pivot, punch, pivot, punch. Halfway through this minute. Awesome. Keep going. Almost done. 5, 4, 3, 2, and last one. Good. We're going to keep with that same movement and go just a little bit faster. So we're going to do 3 punches per side. So you're going to go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. I'm going to slow it down a little bit so I can actually get that punch in, hit my imaginary target. So at your own speed. Over, 1, 2, 3, cross body. Good. Keep going. Got about 15 more seconds on this one. Good. Last one here. All right. Our next one is going to be to the ceiling. I'm actually going to start with slicing hands for this one instead of fists. I'll let you decide what's better for you. I'm going to go up with a slower movement, focused a little bit more on my core support here. So trying to keep the rib cage even to the hip bones. So I'm not raising one shoulder up any higher than my arm goes for this press. Good, we're almost done this one. The last one. All right, we're going to take those 3 punches and punch towards the ceiling now. So you're going to go 1, 2, 3, other side. Good, arm extension and speed, whatever feels good for you. So it doesn't need to be to full extension through the elbow. Almost on this one, 10 more seconds. And we just got a few more of these to do. Last one each way. Good. All right, from here, we're going to move on to the sides. We're going to do a side reach. It can be either with a fist or an open hand for this. And I'm actually going to slow it down enough that I can do a little bit of side flexion. Stay upright if that is your better choice for today, or add that little extra bit of reach. Good, keep going. We got about 15 more seconds on this one. The last one each way. Good. And then we're getting ready to side punch. So just watch those shoulders. And of course that you have the space around you to do that. So you're going to go out, out, out. It can be a fairly quick move if you're comfortable with that. Whatever pacing feels good for you today. You just have a few more minutes of this still to do. Good, almost done. 5 more seconds. Last 2 and last one here. All right, this is our second last minute of this round. So we're going to go 3 different directions. You're going to do a punch to center at about eye level, one at chest level, one at hip level. Let's slow it down for this first one with the option of a little bit of a hinge. So maybe one hand can be on your lap to stabilize if you need that, while the other one does the punching. So adding that optional bit of extra reach. And we got about 15 more seconds on this one. We're going to speed it up for the next round. Last one here. Okay, there goes my timer. Last minute, you're going to punch in those 3 directions fast. You're going to go 1, 2, 3. So it'll be less reach, more quick punch. So probably about 1.5 feet out in front of you. 1, 2, 3. 3 different directions. Up, mid, low. Halfway through this minute. Good, keep going, almost done. 10 more seconds. Last one here. Excellent. All right, shake that one out. Our first weighted exercise is going to be back muscles. We just used a lot of chest, so we're going to even it out with some back muscles in a moment. I'm going to stop my timer and grab a drink of water, so maybe you will as well. And we'll need our weights for this next portion. If you are planning on doing some hinged activity and you like to have a pillow on your lap, you can certainly have that placed now. It shouldn't be in our way for the next set of exercises. And you'll grab small hand weights or water bottles, whatever you have handy. So I'm going to try to keep with a bit of the same theme, and we're going to move at different speeds, being really mindful of the fact, of course, when we have weights in our hand, that we can't move too fast without letting the momentum from the weight take over. So fast with weights in hand is different than I would move without weight, of course, in my hands. So just be really mindful of that you are in control of the weight, and the weight is not just moving under momentum farther than you want it to or quicker than you want it to. All right. So for these first 3 exercises, I will offer you 2 options for each of the exercises, in that you can be upright for all of the different variations, or you can be hinged for the different variations. Regardless, we'll sit up tall in between sets just to do a reset, but shoulders are going to be away from your ears, spine up nice and long, and you'll either be upright or hinged, and I will show you both options. So our first one is going to be our slowest move. It's going to be with both arms at the same time. If you are upright, you will be weights on your knees. I'm just going to adjust my camera a bit. If you're upright, you're going to be weights on your knees or hovering just above to start. Squeezing your shoulder blades to pull your arms wide with slightly bent elbow out to the side, back into center. So that's our slow squeeze, release. If you choose the hinged option, it will be very much the same. It'll just be more out to the side because of your positioning. Good. So you may have already started those. That is great. I'm going to count out 10 now. So if you've done a few extras, that is okay with me. So we're going to go 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. If you were hinged for that set, you will sit upright again and just do a quick reset just to make sure that your posture is still good. Shoulders are away from your ears, nice long spine from the top of your head down to your tailbone, regardless of whether you are seated or hinged. All right, we're going to move into a middle speed activity, meaning that I can move a little bit faster this way, but I still want lots of control. For this one, you will be either upright to do close body move, one side and then the other. So hand towards your hip, or hinged, shoulders set, starting just forward of your knees and pulling into your hip. So let's do those together for 10, 9, 8, 7, shoulder blade to backbone each time, 6, 5, last 4, 3, 2, and last 1. Excellent. If you are hinged, come back upright again, do a little posture reset. And we are getting ready to do our faster move. Again, being conscious of the fact that we want to be in control of our weight and not the other way around. So making sure that momentum doesn't take over. I still want shoulder blade to squeeze towards your backbone each time you do this row. So now we are going to do 10 on one side. If you're hinged, you might have your other hand on your knee for some support as well. And we're going to move just a little bit faster, but still within, with lots of control. So we're going to go from here. Let's do 10, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. Do the other side. Maybe you'll sit upright if you were hinged in between and then hinge again. Always an option to stay upright for the full time if that's best for you today. And then we'll go to the other side. So it will be towards your hip bone and then full extension when you're ready for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Awesome. All right. So for our next set, we are going to move into using a bit more chest muscles. So we use those a lot for our heart rate raising portion of the class today. And we will continue to use them a little bit more and then make sure we stretch them out lots at the end. So shoulders are going to be low and set into position. Arms are out to the side. This will look a lot like some of the moves we did for the cardio portion in that it will be a nice slow. Actually, we're going to do both at the same time. Both arms slowly squeeze to center. If you're holding weights, maybe the bottom side of your weights will clink together as they meet. So squeeze, release. So we're slowing it way down again. This one, because the weights are away from our body, we need a little bit more core work in order to stabilize. So you can be thinking about that as well as your chest muscles squeeze those weights to center. Good. I'm supposed to be counting, aren't I? Let's do 3 more. 3, 2, and 1. Good. Take those weights, shake out your shoulders a little bit. Be aware if those shoulders have crept up by your ear a bit that you set them back down your back. All right. I'll try to count this one out better. We're going to go for our medium speed move here. So it's going to be one arm and then the other, quite similar to what we were just doing. So a sweeping forward move to bring us to a center target. So let's do 10 of those together. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and last one here. All right, set those weights on your lap, reset everything. Getting ready to do our quicker move, which, lots of control when we're doing this one. We're going to do 10 on one side and then 10 on the other. So it will be a relatively quick uppercut sort of move, still focused on your chest muscles as doing all of the work. So it will be quick on one side 10 times. When you are ready, shoulders set into position, chest muscles ready to work. We're going to go 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And then the same on the other side. Chest muscles squeezing for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Guys. All right. We have time for at least one more sequence of the same. This one is going to be a little bit of mid-back between your shoulder blades again, but adding in quite a bit more shoulder work. So depending on how your shoulders feel today, maybe the weights will be too much and you'll just set them down and do range of motion. That's fine. Or if you're comfortable with weights in hand, we will be using them for this portion as well. So what we're going to do to start with for our slower move is have palms facing in towards each other. So the weights are up and down. They are going to be shoulders away from your ears, arms long for this one. So you're going to do a long side reach. And what I want you to focus on is that first your rear shoulder muscles help, and then your shoulder blades give you that little extra bit of squeeze as they squeeze together. So a little bit more extension through those arms. Good. We've done about 3. We're going to do 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. We are going to change that move up to make it more rotator specific for our next set. So this one will be, I think my pillow is going to be in the way. I'm going to get rid of that. This one will be elbows glued to our side, palms still facing in towards each other. Really being conscious, especially for this one, about the fact that the weight might start to move this farther than I want it to go if I am moving too fast. So with lots of control side to side, we're going to rotate through that shoulder joint to bring the weight out to the side into center 10 times. So that was 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Good. All right, resetting those shoulders, getting ready for our last set with rotator cuff. So this one will be a little bit faster, but being really conscious, of course, of what end range is. So I would rather you move with palms facing up in kind of the halfway point of where you would usually do the rotator cuff rotation. And then you won't hit too far that end point. So we're going to go quick little moves side to center, starting for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And then the same on the other side, elbow close, palm facing up. We'll go 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. All right. I'm only going to use one weight for this next exercise. So you might set the other one just down. If you need a drink of water as well, go ahead and grab another one of those before we do our last few resistance exercises for today. All right, so I want to do a couple of core exercises for our last few resistance. So we're going to start with the paint shaker. What I'm going to have you do is do this with lots of extension through the arms to start. So we're going to start this one slow as well. Reaching out and in, keeping it fairly low. So I want it to kind of come back into about belly button level. And both hands are holding the weight upright for this one. Good. From here, you might start to speed it up and close the movement to be a little closer. So this is our paint shaker. Good, let's do it for 4, 3, 2, and 1. And then take a little break. So again, set that weight on your lap, maybe shake out your shoulders a bit, some rear shoulder rotations. Check in with your posture. We'll get ready to do one more set of those with a little change up. This time for our slower move, we're going to do that one again with a bit of a side to side reach. So maybe you'll reach past one knee with the weight and then past the other. Coming back to center each time. We're not rotating through this move, so we are keeping our shoulders and our hips facing forward. It's just the weight that's making that rotation or that side to side move. Good. So we'll do last 3, 2, and 1. And then we're going to do something very similar to that. And I'll let you decide for this next one as we speed it up. If you feel it's best for you to go front to back, the same as we were doing before, straight forward, or whether you want to do a little bit of a diagonal shake. So as you start to speed it up, you might go side, center, side, center. Just small. We're not trying to get full extension here. Want to be nice and upright, shoulders facing forward. So these more side sweeping moves, hopefully challenging our obliques a little bit more, as well as our rectal abdominals. Good, so we'll do 4, 3, 2, and 1. Excellent. All right, I have time for one last core exercise before we start our stretches. So we will do our oblique side flexion for our last one. Weight in hand if you are good with that. If you would rather just do range of motion without the weight, that is totally fine. So we are going to side flex towards the side holding the weight. So slight dip to the side. And then our obliques on the opposite side are pulling us to center. We're just going to stay on this side because we just have the weight in one hand. So we will side flex, pull to center. If you like to have your hand on the working muscle for this one, I like to do that. So you can tell your obliques that they are helping to pull your body upright. You side flex, then the obliques pull back to center. Let's do 2 more on this side. And last one. Good, and then we'll move to the other side and do the same. Shoulders set, weight is reaching down towards the ground. Little side flex to get it closer, and then oblique muscles on that opposite side, pulling you back up nice and tall. Good. We'll do 4 more here. 3, last 2, and 1. Excellent. We are done with the weight and ready to do some stretching. So let's start with just a few shoulder rolls to the back. And then adding in your arms, bigger shoulder circles. Maybe you take some big breaths in and out here as well, expanding through your chest. Last 2, and 1. Good. And then we're going to take one arm at a time to open up to the side and release. Good. One more like that. And then we're going to go a little bit more on the diagonal, so a bit like we did at the start of class today. We're going to get ready to hold this with an optional rotation. So I will give you the 2 different options and you can decide what's best for you. If you'd like to just hold that arm in place, so diagonally behind you, go right ahead. If you'd like to add a little bit of spinal rotation at the same time, you'll take the other hand and place it across on your thigh. And then you will help to add a little bit of resistance and rotational stretch here as we reach. You might look towards your thumb of the hand that's reaching back behind you as well. And we'll take some big breaths in and out while we're here. And then you can come back to center. We'll do the same on the other side. So we started just with that Side arm reach, getting a little stretch and release through our chest at about shoulder height. So we'll do one more at that height. And then we'll come down to a diagonal reaching back behind. Good, so we'll do a few more movements like that, and then we will find our static stretch. So let's do one more. And then you can decide for this side as well, whether you want to add in the rotation or just the reach for the stretch. So you can just reach that arm diagonally back, or you can take your other hand onto your thigh to give a little bit of rotation as you reach, and then possibly adding in changing your gaze, so getting a little neck stretch as you look over your thumb of the stretching arm. Taking some nice big breaths in and out here, expanding through your chest. And then coming back to center. Excellent. We will do a little bit more chest stretch in a few moments, but let's just stretch out through our mid back a little bit. So from here, you can take your hands off to the side and come around to give yourself a low hug. So elbows and shoulders are both low. Hands are cross-body on the opposite shoulder. You can focus on some breathing here. So again, big breath in, expanding through your chest, and a breath out to release. Letting those shoulder blades release away from each other for a nice relaxing stretch. And then maybe adding in a little bit more stretch with an active reach forward of your elbows. So without those shoulders raising too high, elbows reaching forward. So now you can feel like, and you might move through some range with this. So you might take a breath in, expand through your back, and a breath out to release. So breath in, elbows get closer to your screen, breath out to release, and one more like that. Good. You're going to unwind your arms and put them the opposite way around. And then from this position, we might add a little bit of hinge here as well. So you can decide whether that feels good for you today. You might just do the active reach we were doing before, or you might add a little bit of a hinge and add an extra breath or two. If you find a spot that you quite like for the stretch and you want to pause and take a breath or two there, that's fine too. And then release back up, and we'll do one more like that. And back up, you can unwind those arms. I have one last chest stretch for you. It will be the one where we either take our fists onto our hips or the backs of your hands into your imaginary back pockets. Maybe you will press your hands to get a little bit of extra resistance as you start to pull your elbows back. And I'll let you decide whether you want to work through some movement here. So maybe a breath in puffs up through your chest and pulls your elbows back, and a breath out resets you, elbows by your side. And then if you feel like you want to hang out here with elbows pulled back, chest puffed up for a few nice big breaths in and out, go right ahead. Good. And then you'll release your hands. All right, as we complete class today, we'll just do a little bit of release through forearms and through our neck as well. So maybe with either a fist or an extended hand, you're going to drop your fingers down towards the ground and then do some gentle pressure through the back of your hand with an extended elbow. So my elbow is straight, gentle pressure here. I'm going to multitask and do a neck stretch at the same time. So I'm going to drop my ear away from that stretching arm. So I'm going to drop it to the opposite shoulder. I'll take a few breaths while you're here. Good. And then release that hand and give me a few slow wrist circles. And back the other direction. Let's do the same on the other side, either with extended fingers or with a fist. You're going to drop the fingertips down towards the ground, put some gentle pressure through the back of your hand with an extended elbow so I can get some stretch through forearms. And then your ear will drop away from that stretching side towards your shoulder. Good, you can release that. Give me a few slow wrist circles on this side, maybe changing direction. So as usual, I will end my class with 3 big breaths in, and feel free to stay after if you want to chat or if you have any questions for me. Otherwise, we hope to see you again next week. Starting down low, big breath in as you reach for the ceiling. Breath out to release. 2 more times here. And last one. Thank you, everyone. Have a good rest of your day. Thanks, Barbara. I got your message.
Thank you.
Thank you. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you too. Thank you.
Take care.
You too.
Okay, I'll see you guys next week.
All right. Sounds great.